Hello everyone and welcome back. This is a two-part conversation. I am here with Kabutey Ocansey, Ghana's preferred MC. And we're having a conversation about how to pick the right MC for your wedding. If you missed last week's conversation, I am going to link it below, so make sure you watch that conversation because he gave some great tips on how to pick the perfect MC for your event. And we also talked about how much you should expect to pay for a wedding MC here in Ghana. Today we are talking about how to get the best from your wedding MC. What are some of the tips? How are you able to create this vibe in every wedding that is unforgettable? What are some of the tips that you can give us if anybody is watching this and they have been invited to MC a wedding? How are they able to create that connection that has made you one of Ghana's top MCs?
Thank you. It's great to be here again. So, first of all, let's start with this. Who are the stakeholders for you as an MC going into an event? And I believe there are three key broad stakeholders. There is one, the event hosts themselves. When I say the event host, it's either the couple or the celebrant or the company, okay? Then secondly is the planner or the organizer. All right, they're your second stakeholder. And thirdly is the audience that you're going to deal with. So as the MC, you need to understand that you have an objective towards each of these three categories. It may be just the host who is contracting you to do the event, but your effectiveness depends on you fulfilling objectives for all of these three. And I believe that for the objective to the host is to be effective and to give them a memory. Your objective to the planner or the organizer is to give them peace of mind. I would explain that. And then your objective to the audience is you want to give them an experience in the moment that they would enjoy so that their natural connection with the host or the celebrant can be brought to the fore. Okay, great. So let's take it one after the other. Talking about the host, which is the celebrant, the couple, or the company. Your objective to them is to be effective and to give them a memory of that day. How do you do that? You need to be meticulous. You need to take your time and invest in yourself, in your personality, and into preparing for that particular event. All right, so if you've been invited by somebody to come and host an event for them, you need to ask yourself, what kind of personality are you? And based on the personality that you are, what are the advantages or disadvantages of that personality? Because if you go out there representing something that is not your authentic self, it will always not come out well. So you don't always have to be the lively, everyday person. If you are a straight jacket person, just know that I am a straight jacket person. Because I'm a straight jacket person, I need to compensate for this. And I need to tone down on this to allow me to be effective for this event. If you are a loud, all over the place person, you also need to know that I need to compensate for this and I need to manage this for me to be effective with the event. Because your role as the MC, at some point you will be announcing, at some point you'll be coordinating, at some point you'll be entertaining, at some point you will be just holding it together, at some point you'll be creating or triggering the fun. And all of these draw from different aspects of who you are. Some of them you may not have. So if you know you are a loud, all over the place person, when it comes to you being the announcer as part of your role as the MC, you will struggle. And so you need to ask yourself, how do I compensate for that? When it comes to the point where I need to create emotion, because throughout the event, you can't speak with the same pitch of voice, depending on what you're going to say. If I'm going to introduce the parents of the bride, I will capture my voice in a different tone from when I'm announcing the entry of the bridal party. If I do the same, or if I reverse them, they will both fall flat. Yeah. Do you understand? Sure. So these are things you do on the back end, not even with the couple, just with yourself. So once you understand your personality and you know the pros and cons of your personality, you can better pull yourself together for different aspects of the event. Then you know I'm going to do this event. Come out with your program, having discussed it, of course, with the planner and with the host. Once you've agreed on it, now take that program and ask yourself. The first thing may be just opening prayer. How do I capture opening prayer in a way that is clear, is precise, is engaging, and yet maybe it's even slightly different? How do I do that? Next, the bridal party is going to come into the party. How do I introduce them? Because you know the way an event starts is the way it ends. Yep. So if you want to start with a big bang, how do you get the people to be ready for a big bang? People may not notice this, but for all of my weddings, before the event, first of all, my DJ is like always my best friend. You know, I would always call the DJ a week or a few days before an event, whether I know them or not, just to introduce myself to them, just to show them a bit of respect and value, so that on the day, we have a certain synergy between us. So before the wedding starts, we would intentionally be playing low-tempo kind of music. It's psychological, so that when the bridal party is ready to come in and we drop a big hit, subconsciously it wakes everybody up and we're ready for it, you know. So if I'm introducing the couple, first of all, the bridal party have come through. You have to understand the couple is the highlight of the event. So I can't introduce them with the same intensity and passion as I did for the bridal party, or I can't make the bridal party be higher than the couple. So it's a build-up. Do you understand? So you realize that you may not notice, but there's a lot of thinking and thought that has gone into it. And so everything that I am doing, I have planned it. I know, okay, at this point, I need to build good anticipation. I maybe need to even create a little bit of suspense. So there's a team of 6 couples who are forming the bridal party. All of them are coming with big bangs. How do I still make the couple bigger than them? So sometimes I may cut the music. Let it pause for 2 seconds. And then I'll start asking people, are you sure you came for a wedding or you came for a party? Like, which one did you come with? Yeah. Did you come on the bride side or on the groom side? Yeah. Like, are you ready? This couple have been planning and putting the entire world together for this moment. Are you ready to experience the moment? So you see, you build a certain anticipation, and when the drops, people will naturally express themselves, okay? So that takes you. So you realize that with every single topic, there are a lot of, undertones, but I'm sure you can follow. Yeah. Now, let's talk about your planner or organizer, because your planner or your organizer is literally the one you are complementing each other. Yes. You need to fit into their plan for the event, as much as they also allow you to be your professional best within that event. But you can't be on 2 different paths. You know, so after the host or the couple can tell you all that they dream about for the event, but it's the planner who will translate that dream into physical, onto the ground. And then you, the MC, now have to deliver what the planner has brought on earth, so that the couple will still feel the same wonder that they had in their mind when they were thinking about their event. Then ultimately it's your audience, because your audience they are your judges. Your audience is your reward. Your audience is your everything. Yeah. Because the audience is the most important person to the host or to the couple. And when the audience is happy, the couple are happy. Because why do they bring all these people together? So that they can share this important event with them. So, again, be conscious of the array of people that you have at your event. Sometimes people make the mistake of starting a party with current hits. Let me give you a little one of my secrets, all right? If you start a party with current hits, what you have done is you have immediately alienated all the mature people in the audience. Immediately. You have told them, I don't care about you. I don't respect you. You're not the most important thing here right now. Because mature old people most of the time cannot connect with current hits. It may be the biggest song today, but it's not the song that tugs at the heart of the parents of the bride or groom. And guess what? Most of the time, they are the ones paying for the event. So, if you're doing an event like a social event, start by playing to the mature people in the audience. Something as simple as recognizing the parents of the bride and groom. What it does is that it validates every mature person in the audience. Because think about this, 50% or more of the audience of every wedding are the guests of the parents, not even of the couple themselves. Sometimes even more. And by acknowledging the parents, all the people who are there because of the parents also feel acknowledged. They feel validated. They feel like, this guy, how do you say that in English?
Your eye open.
You know, this guy, he knows what he's about. He's a mature person. He has respect. You know, then you find, one of those old classics from back in the day. You to me are everything. Ooh. Or if you want to do her life, some
do a little thing first. Do a little thing first.
Oh, I mean.
Come on, I don't have a great voice.
I could take the stars out of the sky for you.
Let's go.
Let's take it straight into the chorus. You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I could sing. Oh baby, oh baby,
Man,
so
you are the MC. You really are.
So drop something like that for them, and you don't have to invite them to dance because you have validated them, you have greeted them. It's like going into a house and you are seeing an elderly person sitting in front of the door and you just walk past him into the house. Then when you finish, you walk back out and you ask them, please, where can I find the chair? They will not respond to you. So the same analogy, when you are starting the event, see it that the elderly person is sitting at the entrance of the event. Acknowledge them, validate them, then invite them to be a part of the event. Now, you know what? The younger people, whether you greet them or not, they will be part of the event. Do you understand me?
Yeah,
but the older people, when they don't respond, if you don't invite them at the beginning, they will never be part of the rest of the event. It doesn't matter what else you do, you have disconnected yourself from them.
That makes a lot of sense. I just got a moment of realization that is so true.
It's so true. So if I come into at the beginning of the event, I acknowledge all of these people. I acknowledge the parents of the bride and groom. I mention them by name. I allow them to rise up and just take a wave. Let people give them a good applause. After I have done that, I've taken care of 50 to 70% of the people in the audience who are there because of them. After that, now the remaining 30%, how do I reach them? So I find out, okay, are they from the schools of the couple? So then I acknowledge them by schools. Then I think, are they work colleagues of them? Then I acknowledge them by the different companies from which they are coming from. Do you understand? I can even create a slight little competitiveness between them. So those who are here for the bride and those who are here from the groom, let's see who has the most fans in the house. And a little, just by this acknowledgement, you have touched everybody in the audience. What you have done is you have allowed them to open their hearts to you as the MC. And so now from that point on, when you come to stand there and you say, excuse me, they will keep quiet. When the music starts playing and you say, I want to see everybody on the dance floor, they will respond because they have opened their hearts to you. If you don't allow them to open their hearts to you, you cannot have control over them. You cannot have control over them. So do the work behind, know yourself, your personality that you're bringing on board, understand the three stakeholders that you are dealing with and your responsibility to each of them. Then the rest of it, draw on all of your creativity. I'm not a comedian. If you are blessed with a gift of comedy, fantastic. Use it. Don't overdo it, but use it. If you are not blessed with a gift of comedy, please don't go there. Don't force it. I do what I call situational humor. All right, so I'm not the once upon a time kind of joke person. No. I look at what is happening within the audience because you see, for a joke to be funny, you have to relate to it and you have to recognize it. That's why some of the biggest comedians in the world, you can watch their shows, the whole stadium full of people are laughing, but you're wondering, what did he just say? Because you can't relate to what he says and you don't recognize what he's done. Okay, so find something that the entire audience in the room can recognize and can relate to, because we are all here. And the funny thing also about jokes is that every joke is funny because it punches somebody. Imagine if the joke punches is the most important person in the room. Do you understand me?
Yes.
You already, so that's me. Because I'm not a comedian, I'm not blessed with that gift, I don't go there. I do situational humor, I do witty comments here and there. You know, I do, just in the moment things. And then it still works fine. You know, it will still achieve the purpose without necessarily, having a moment where everybody's going, ha, 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 ha. If you have two fantastic jokes, fine, polish them well, rehearse them, deliver them on point at the right time. Yeah. If you have a great voice, throw in a song at a certain point. I remember the first time I did an event for a couple where both families were Ewes, all right? I don't speak a word of Ewe. And these were not just urban Ewes. A part of the family were also coming all the way from their village, which means that we have a challenge of communication with the English. I don't speak the Ewe, they don't speak English as well. And yet they are going to form about half of the audience. So I'm asking myself, how do I connect with these people? I need to find a way to connect. I kept thinking, and then 2 weeks before the event, I sat in a car listening to radio, and then I heard a Kwabna Kwabna song. All right, it's called Daddy Anoma. And Daddy Anoma is a 3-word song, but it has one verse in Ewe. So guess what I did? I literally sat down for 2 weeks.
It.
I listened to it and I wrote it the way I heard it in sounds. I didn't understand a word. I wrote it and then I chewed the song. I kept singing it everywhere. So on the day of the event, at the beginning, I could tell I'm losing half of the audience because they're not connecting with me, And you can tell when they're not connecting with you. Then they are not paying attention, they're having conversations, there's so much noise in the auditorium, all those things. So at a point I tell the DJ, drop the song for me. So he starts playing the song. And then after the tree, there's instrumentals. When the instrumental started, I started talking. So I was just talking something about the couple, all of that. I said, I think I could feel what the groom is thinking in his head. And he wants to say something to his bride. Just at that point, the Ewe started. So when the Ewe started, the room was kind of chaotic. Then I just started. By this time, everybody's
wait a minute.
And I continue. And I'm like, by the way, do you know I don't understand a word? The whole auditorium breaks into laughter and I continue. Guess what? From that moment to the end of the auditorium, everybody was obeying my instructions.
That is so clever.
They kept coming to me and started talking. I'm like, I don't understand though. But from that point on, if I say, excuse me, they will hold on. If I say, wait, it's time for us to die, we're one of us now. They can connect with you. So find what works for you and use that to connect with the audience. That's the only way you can get control over the audience. Otherwise, you will lose the event. And the moment the event gets out of your hands, then you have no value to the event anymore.
Yeah.
Because you need to control it to be able to be effective, to meet the objectives for the 3 stakeholders that I spoke about from the beginning.
That was a great conversation. I feel like I have learned so much. I feel like I could literally pick up a mic right now at a friend's wedding and know exactly how to deliver and what to deliver. I hope that you have equally enjoyed this conversation. If you did enjoy the video, remember to give it a thumbs up. Give us some encouragement, guys. Kabutey has been incredible. I can't say enough. He is such a fantastic MC, and these tips, I am sure, will help you as well. If you're invited by your friend or your neighbor or your sibling to MC their wedding, you know how to get people on the floor and get them excited for an unforgettable event. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications bell as well so that you receive an alert whenever there's a new video. I look forward to seeing you again, same time next week. Bye-bye.